The desire for escapism is a fundamental human experience. Many have felt the overwhelming pressure of the world and the accompanying instinct to retreat, feeling that every attempt to integrate into society only pushes them further away. While various methods of escapism exist, some souls require a total separation, a situation where one is the only person on Earth, where the stakes are life or death, and reliance on others is impossible. This profound isolation is the beating heart of The Climber, or Kokou no Hito. Originally developed by Yoshio Nabeta and Shinichi Sakamoto before Sakamoto took full creative control, the series is loosely based on the life of mountaineer Buntarō Kato. However, it uses this realism merely as a foundation to explore deeper themes of loneliness, human connection, and the psychological nightmares that accompany the pursuit of greatness. The narrative centers on Mori, a young man followed by misfortune who actively seeks to isolate himself from the world. His journey begins not with a dream of glory, but as a reaction to bullying. When forced to climb the side of a school building by tormentors expecting him to fail, Mori discovers an unexpected prowess. In that moment of physical exertion and fear, he finds a passion he never knew existed. The victory of the summit makes him feel, for the first time, truly alive. Crucially, this vitality is a sensation that connects him to the world, but requires absolutely no one else to achieve. From this awakening, Mori begins a pursuit of rock climbing. While the story initially adopts the trappings of a standard sports manga, learning the gear, training, and tackling smaller mountains, it quickly sheds these genre conventions to become a darker character study. For Mori, climbing is not a sport, it is an addiction, and a mechanism to avoid the messiness of human intimacy. He denies himself connection, remaining awkward around women and terrified of vulnerability, operating under the belief that it is safer to risk his life on a sub-zero peak than to risk a broken heart or the complications of social existence. The manga is brutally realistic about the dangers of this solitary path, detailing the freezing temperatures, oxygen deprivation, and the reality that those who climb alone often remain on the mountain forever. Nature is depicted as indifferent to human suffering. In a pivotal sequence involving a team climb, disaster strikes, picking off the crew one by one. A dying teammate begs Mori to stay with him, sharing his life story in a desperate bid for connection in his final moments. Lying next to him, Mori comes to a startling realization that dying next to a friend might be preferable to living entirely alone. This internal conflict spans years of the character's life, culminating in a profound duality. As Mori matures, he achieves the impossible. He finds love and a family. He finally has a place to return to, yet the compulsive desire to climb remains. This tension comes to a head in the final act when he joins Takamura, a man who mirrors Mori's former lonely self, to attempt the east face of K2. The narrative presents a stark contrast, a man with nothing to lose climbing alongside a man who now has everything to lose. Shinichi Sakamoto's artwork during this arc becomes abstract and surreal, visualizing the internal war within Mori's mind. The story poses a difficult philosophical question regarding the lonely genius archetype. On one hand, life feels expendable when one is dedicated solely to the climb. On the other, the climb seems less significant when there is a home waiting. When faced with avalanches in the proximity of death, Mori is forced to decide whether to continue his ascent or fight to descend, and whether one choice is truly nobler than the other. Ultimately, The Climber is more than a story about mountaineering. It is an introspective study of the introverted soul. It suggests that the isolation often associated with greatness is not always a requirement, but sometimes a byproduct of fear. The fear of the unknown variables of human connection. It posits that it is sometimes easier to risk one's life doing something one understands than to fail in a society one does not feel part of. Whether for its technical accuracy regarding the sport or its masterful psychological depth, The Climber remains a compelling examination of the cost of dreams and the value of returning home.